Welcome to the jungle, everyone. I'm Kyle Phelps, and yes, we're doing this shit again. Another week, another pile of frauds to expose, miracle plays to overreact to, and fan bases to drag straight to hell. Like mine. If you thought last week was messy, then buckle up, we got more, and feel free to subscribe if you're enjoying the content. You've got to give credit to the Seahawks for both coming up clutch with the drive to win that game. But it's also true that the Seahawks are kind of suspect for letting the Cardinals come back and almost win that one. The Cardinals of all teams. So I'm putting them on fraud alert. The only impressive win that they've had this year is a 31-17 win over the Steelers, which was good, but I'm going to need to see some more evidence. The Cardinals are firmly on notice until further notice. I'm going to need Marvin Harrison Jr. to do more than play well in the second half going forward. You know, I don't think that there was ever a point in this Jaguars-49ers game where I genuinely thought that the 49ers were going to win this game. Maybe on that first drive, back when it looked like the Niners offense was actually going to be pretty good this week until it stalled and just never got the momentum going back again. But honestly, for the Jaguars, I still have that loss to Jake Browning in the back of my head. I believe Robert Saleh's death threats more than I believe the Jags are actually going to make a run, because they never actually do. Y'all beat the Chiefs next week and we'll talk, alright? Unfortunately, Niners fans, I gotta say you guys are condemned at this point. There's just too many injuries, and again, without some of those key players, I just don't see the vision. They can't keep getting away with it, man. Good lord, some of y'all don't believe me when I say that Mike Tomlin is a goddamn voodoo wizard. And this is why that they don't ever have losing records, even though they tend to get spanked when the time the playoffs come. Rodgers looked like he was back in Green Bay this week, playing the Bears for the first 3 damn quarters. Then Jordan Addison hits an 81-yarder and the Vikings almost climb back into it, only for Carson Wentz to turn back into a pumpkin at the worst possible time. Where was that last week, man? The Steelers are probably the same frauds that they are every year, but Rodgers doesn't have to play the 49ers in the playoffs if he's in the AFC, so I will see at this point, I don't know. The Vikings are on notice, though. Blowout against the Bengals notwithstanding. Good lord, when the hell is Jaden Daniels getting back, man? The commies look broken right now. Other than Debo, they basically have no offense. They were 1 for 8 on third downs this week. Their defense couldn't get off the field. And on top of that, they made Michael Penix look damn good. I can't say I fully buy the Falcons right now, but they've had a couple of really solid wins at this point. You know, getting shut out by the Panthers is a thing. But, you know, this is a young team, so I'm just saying that there's potential there. We'll see how the commies look, though, when Jaden Daniels gets back, but at this point, yeesh. What a stinger this one was for Saints fans, man. I feel bad for y'all, Mikey, but, I mean, at least, you know, the likelihood that you were going to take down the Bills was pretty low, and I think y'all knew that. They did have a few chances in this one, though. I gotta say, though, what was that trick play with Olave? I couldn't stop myself from laughing audibly, and I'm sorry, but in the Korean fried chicken restaurant that I was eating at when that play happened. Rattler looked decent, man, but he couldn't stop the red zone stalls, the sacks, the grounding killed drives. So yeah, I gotta tell you that the Bills are for real, and I don't think it takes a genius to tell you that. The Saints are all the way condemned, ironically enough. I don't think anybody would disagree with those statements. This Browns-Lions game was absolutely electrifying out the gate, man. Boom! Jameson Williams comes out for 13 on the first play. The Browns get their shit together and stuff them into oblivion. Flacco comes out, ice in his veins, cool as a cucumber, and he marches them right down the field for a Judkins touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs said fuck off and immediately answered. And Joe Flacco's like, bet, alright. So he struts out onto the field, holding his balls the size of watermelons, daring the Lions to come after him as he throws for 2 yards and a pick on his second attempt. Man, the Browns were pretty much dead in the water after that one, and they were never really competitive at all after that. Holy shit, the Browns suck. The Lions, I'm not totally sure just yet, but they looked pretty good against the team that just beat the Packers last week and does have a really good defense. So, does that mean that they get to trade for Micah Parsons now? The fact that the Panthers even scored 42 against the Patriots this week was remarkable. It seems like they caught the Pats off guard initially. They didn't even get to third down once, which was like a masterclass, and then the wheels completely fell off after that. Marcus Jones kicked off an avalanche with his 87-yard punt return. The Panthers couldn't even score again until well into garbage time, and I think we can safely condemn this team at this point. I'm not sure what to make of the Patriots right now. I mean, you can make the argument that they could easily be 4-0 right now, but also the only halfway decent team they play is the Steelers, and they lost that game, so I don't know. Giants fans, I really do empathize with you right now. You beat a legit Chargers team in an absolute trench fight, and it still feels hollow just because Malik Neighbors went down. Hell, you can't even enjoy watching Jackson Dart look like everything you'd hoped he'd be in his first game. That was a gritty, hard-earned win that sets the tone for what could be the beginning of a legendary story about this Dart kid coming in and making everybody forget about the whole Indiana Jones thing. And then that happens. As a Bengals fan, I truly understand your pain. I wouldn't say that the Giants are condemned just yet, but yikes, dude. The Chargers, Bad Herbert showed up this week, and that's not good. We'll see where you go from here. Even the bullshit that is Baker Mayfield's late game antics and a goddamn 65-yard field goal at halftime aren't enough to overcome the champs. A blocked punt touchdown, 2 Hurts to Goddard touchdowns, and Saquon grinding in a score made it feel like Philly had this wrapped up by the break, but Baker and company made it interesting at the end like they always kind of do. Braden Mann taking the intentional safety at the end was like really anticlimactic, and that was kind of funny to see, but it was also kind of lame. But I think it was clear from watching this game that these two teams could be playing again in January. I know shutouts aren't as rare as ties in the NFL, but I always find it mind-boggling when they actually happen, right? This is a league where rules practically beg for scoring, and yet the Titans put up a big fat 0 during this game. 2 missed field goals, drive-killing sacks, and a whole lot of third and forever made the Titans feel somehow worse than the Bengals this week. Don't worry, I'll get to those fucks. But staying on topic, the Texans weren't exactly running away with this one for most of the game. They opened the floodgates in the fourth quarter, but Cam Ward eating dirt on every play I think is proof of just how condemned the Titans are truly right now. Texans, congrats on the shutout. You know, I'm still going to need to see a lot more before I buy in, but it was a good game. Finally, I can sleep at night again. Indiana Jones has been defeated and frankly looked closer to the Giants version of himself in this one with those 2 mind-boggling picks that he threw, rather than this crazy mutant thing that he's morphed into since he's been with the Colts. Instead, it was Matthew Stafford's 37-year-old ass looking like the young buck out there, and the Rams defense playing cleanup crew all night. Rams, they look like they could make another run, honestly. Colts, y'all play with fire, and you lost this time. Personally, I was devastated that either of these 2 shitbag teams had to win. Ravens jump out early, and for a second I thought maybe Lamar would save us from another 3 months of Mahomes worship, but no, Kansas City hits the bullshit, and suddenly it's 27-3, and we're all trapped in hell again. Lamar throws it straight at a linebacker because he's just that nice of a guy, you know. Worthy looked really good in this one too. Great. And even Travis Kelce took a break from making googly eyes at Tay-Tay to pick up the 1,000,000 first downs in this one. I'm not ready to say that the Chiefs are all the way back just yet, but I think I am ready to say that the Ratbirds are overrated. The Bears winning this one felt illegal. Caleb Williams only had 1 pick, but it was a nasty one in the red zone, guys. Then out of nowhere, he hits a Dunze, and Swift drags him into the end zone at that point. For the Raiders, it was 2 picks to Bayard and another to Stevenson, but they still managed to have Genty finally show up in this one and give themselves a chance to win it with a 54-yard blocked. Bears probably still suck, but that was a fun game, you know? The Raiders take their place in hell. Alright, all y'all disappointing ending nerds can relax a little bit. This tie was art. 40-40, first of all, is scoregami, and this whole thing was just an absolute clown show. It was very entertaining. Yes, Jerry Jones got to look like a fool because his defense looked absolutely atrocious without Micah Parsons. You know what really could have gotten them over the hump? Micah Parsons. But for all the shit that Packers fans have been talking, their defense didn't look that much better either. Micah did make his mark in this game by technically recording a sack, which saved the Packers from losing on a walk-off Dak rushing touchdown, but both sides looked like absolute fools after this one, and it was just perfect. The Jets really tricked us all for like 5 minutes into thinking that they were a competent football team. Well, okay, maybe not you, oh omniscient viewer, who knew it all along and totally didn't get caught up in any of the hype, but this one was just, it was penalties, it was sacks, it was fumbles, you name it. They stapled their own forehead and they lost to the Dolphins. The fucking Dolphins, man. It's not like the Dolphins looked sharp either. I might have to have a talk with Mikey this week if the Jets are in anything but the bottom 3 this week. I think it's about time I brought this back from the 90s. No Burrow, no fight, no pulse. Come one, come all to watch the clown cheer for his cursed team. Denver didn't even have to try, man. They just showed up and watched us collapse. Congrats, I guess. I'll call them for real when they beat a real team instead of the hopeless Titans or the castrated Bengals. The Bengals, they've been condemned since I was born, so this is nothing new. Alright, so my work here's done. Elites certified. Frauds exposed. Hopes crushed. Now, it's time to stir the pot even more. We got our Power Rankings correspondent, Mikey. Mikey, I know that you are ready to drag us down into your madness. So what do you got cooking this week?
Yeah, man. You see, top 10 is out. We got fresh heat. Some teams are in, some teams are out. I think we put 2 teams in the top 10, and I know I kicked the Ravens out after their pitiful performance against the Chiefs. At number 10, I kept the Seahawks at 10. It's basically because I don't know what to think about Seattle. It's like, yes, you dominated the Saints, but you almost choked the game to the Cardinals on Thursday night. So I don't really know what to think. Like, I think they're a good team. And obviously, I kept them in the top 10 for now. But another performance like that but they are 3-1. They're playing good football to start the season. So I'm like, keep them at 10 for now. I was debating if I wanted to drop them out, but I was like, you know what? I'm keeping them at 10 for now. They did win. So, yeah, they're at 10.
They 9, beat the greatest team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, they did beat my team, so I guess that's true, right?
Well, there you go. I mean, they've been blowing a lot of bad teams out. You guys, the Cardinals, the Steelers.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, look, the Seahawks, man, like Sam Darnold, he's been playing pretty well for them. Their defense has been playing pretty great, But, hey, they almost choked out to Arizona, though. So they're currently, if they would have won that game like how they started, I probably would have bumped them up 1 or 2 spots. But I'm keeping them at 10 for now. I think 10's a fair spot.
Was I right about Sam Darnold is the question.
What did you say about Sam Darnold?
Ginger power.
Okay. I thought Sam Darnold was going to have a solid season, too. I just didn't think he was going to be like an MVP favorite like he was in Minnesota. But, yeah. So, yeah, Seahawks are number 10. And then at number 9, we got the Los Angeles Chargers, who I dropped a few spots after losing to the Giants. I didn't drop them out the top 10 because, a lot of teams lose to freaking rookie quarterbacks on their first start for some reason. But they did not play like a 3-0 football team on Sunday against the New York Giants, losing 21-18 to Jackson Dart, and plus Dart lost to Malik Neighbors during the game. It sucks for him, but still, Chargers, you got to beat the Giants. I don't care if the Giants start a quarterback or not. You cannot be losing to the Giants, and you're lucky I kept you in the top 10. The only reason I kept you in the top 10 is because I had you in the top 5 last week. But if you do another performance like that, you're out. You're out of here, man. Out. So yeah, Chargers at 9. And another team I dropped down was the Buccaneers at 8. Now, I didn't drop them too far because they lost to, we'll get to this later, but they lost to, in my opinion, the number 1 team, the Eagles, and they only lost to them by a few points. They were getting blown out for a big while, but they came back a little bit. So I kept them in the top 10. I just bumped them down a couple spots that I felt was fair. Pretty sure I had 6 last week, so they're at 8 now. But Mike Evans is still out. Baker Mayfield, he played all right on Sunday, but definitely not how he's been performing. And I also had that Jets game in my mind. Keep them in top 10 for now. They're number 8.
It felt like the full Baker Mayfield experience where he was running around in the backfield, juking dudes and making the whole pass rush look silly. And then, he gets it off just off his back foot, and he throws straight into the end zone, and it's intercepted.
That's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield reminds me of that. He reminds me of what a lot of people thought James was going to be. Where he was going to be like a quarterback where he would have a good play and then a bad play. It's I don't understand. It's he does a good thing and then he does bad thing, but does more good things than bad things. And apparently does more commercials now, because I was seeing that. So yeah, he's back with his commercial things as well. But yeah, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, they're at 8, and if they lose one more time, I will happily drop them off the top 10. And speaking of drop, I also dropped the Colts a little bit, at number 7 now. I'm pretty sure I also had them in top 5 a week ago, but losing to the Rams in a game where essentially you almost had won with Adonai Mitchell. I don't know if you saw it, Kyle, but this man running with a football, and this man does a whole Deshaun Jackson where he tries to just celebrate before going to the end zone, so he fumbles the ball, so they lose the game basically off of that.
So you're not putting Indiana Jones up in the top 1 anymore?
I've never had him in the top 1. First of all, and second of all, no.
I'm exaggerating.
I know you're exaggerating, and I'm exaggerating at this point, saying no. But yeah, Colts, they're 7, and at number 6, Kyle, you're not gonna like this, but I put the Steelers there, man.
So we're actually going to go ahead and move on now from the power rankings, and we're going to be bringing in a new power rankings correspondent this week.
All right, here we are. So I put the Steelers at 6. Aaron Rodgers just had his best game as a Steeler on Sunday morning, and they dominated the Vikings for 3 quarters of the game. 4th quarter got a little scary, but the Steelers held on to win that game. And the Vikings, I understand starting Carson Wentz, but the Vikings still have a solid roster. So I think that warranted the Steelers for a high jump up to the top 6, as I put them at 6. And hey, another performance like that, maybe top 5 Steelers? Maybe.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I don't know what to tell you, Kyle.
No.
Well, too bad. You got to deal with it. Hey, at least she's doing this. Anyway, at number 5, I got the Green Bay Packers, and I'm just giving y'all a warning in case the Packers lose this game. I'm doing this during the Packers-Cowboys game.
Just out of curiosity, though, if the Cowboys do now, right now it's looking like the Packers might be taking the lead back. But where would you put the Packers if they did end up losing? 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to keep them in the top 10, but I'm not going to lie. Losing to the Cowboys, that might drop them down to 11 or 12, to be honest with you. And that's weird because I had them at number 1 a week ago. But it's not like they're losing the shootout fashion. It's you're losing to the freaking Cowboys. If you're losing to the Eagles or the Lions, I would understand. But I don't know. So maybe around that 10 to 11 range, maybe. They will be right outside the top 10 probably. If they win this game, I'm probably keeping them at 5. It feels like every single week I have a team high in the top 10 that's playing while I talk about this, and then they end up losing.
4 hours later.
And the field goes up. You have anything to say?
I don't know what to do with my body. I think I'm frozen.
All right, so we actually just sat here and watched the entire rest of that Cowboys-Packers game. So now we know the outcome, and we know they did indeed fucking tie the Cowboys and the Packers. So for me, I'm not telling you what to do with your rankings, Mikey, but for me, I think this drops the Packers. But what say you?
They fall down to 8, back where I had them last week.
Oh, right, because you put them up 3 spots for no reason.
I did it so you would climb off my back. Rams are number 4 after holding on the Indianapolis Colts, man. They came after a heartbreaking loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. They turned around and they beat the Colts, man. And the Colts are a pretty good team as of right now. So I think it's a pretty good win for the Rams, and I think if we see more of that going forward, I think the Rams could contend for a top 3 spot. They just ain't top 3 as of right now. You know why? Because number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. Now, I did drop the Bills a spot because I'm pretty sure I had them at 2 last week. How are you barely beating the Saints that try to give you the win 6,000 times?
I feel like this is a conflict of interest here because you're angry at the Saints. So for being the Saints, and so you're dropping the Bills because of your personal perspective on what happened. I don't think most people are going to be dropping the Bills for almost beating the Saints, for barely beating the Saints rather.
It's like, bruh, you lost to one of the worst quarterbacks. You almost lost to one of the worst quarterbacks of all time.
Also, it's true. Also, they won 31-19. So I know it was way too close for comfort. I know it was too close for comfort there for a while, but at the end of the day, I think if, we all looked at this score, a few days ago and we saw the Bills beat the Saints 31-19, we'd all be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
You can say they could have, but did they though?
That's my point. That's why you shouldn't. That's why I don't think you should drop them because they didn't lose to the Saints. You could say they should have blown them out, but it doesn't really matter because they won, and they won at the end of it. They won pretty decisively.
Nah, you see, I think how you beat a team.
This isn't college.
I don't care if it's college or not. This is my power rankings. Do with my power rankings how I want to do my power rankings.
Continue.
Yeah, the Bills are 3, especially since Josh Allen probably had his worst game of the season, yet they still scored 31 points, which pisses me off. But man, the Bills, they're top 3 for now. Give me my number 2 team, baby. Detroit Lions, who did they just beat? That's right, I ain't gonna lie, I totally forgot.
That's because nobody remembers that the Browns exist.
Yeah, that is true. I'm literally not trolling. I'm not saying that to be mean to the Browns. I literally forgot who they played. I had to check. I literally forgot who they played. I'm not trying to be mean to Browns fans. I literally forgot.
Oh, I'm trying to be mean to Browns fans. Fuck you.
Yeah, you are, but I'm being dead serious. I totally forgot who the Lions played. Not just because the Browns suck, which y'all kind of do. Yeah, they blew the brakes off the Browns. They beat the Ravens pretty handedly. They had that one fluke against the Packers, but other than that, it's been really 3 dominant wins in a row. And I understand the Ravens game was 38-32, but the score was 38-32. The real game was not 38-32 if you actually watch the freaking game. He had Lamar in a chokehold, Derrick Henry fumbling all over the place. It's like, no, that was not 30. And that's why I put, how you beat the team in the rankings. Like, if you beat a team 6-5, I'm probably not going to have you in the top 10. I'm sorry. Lions, they're top 2 for now. They just ain't number 1. Give me my number 1 team, the Philadelphia Cheesesteak.
I mean, that definitely is one of the greatest regional foods out there.
Man,
right there with Skyline Chili.
Yeah, but man, they were dog walking the crap out of the Bucs before the Bucs had to make their flimsy little comeback. But man, it wasn't good enough to beat the Tush Pushies, man. Drew Brees even said that the Eagles are the most boring team to watch, but boy, they know how to win, though. I'll say that, man. I'll say that, man. AJ Brown, he's having his little Twitter thing where people are thinking that he wants out of Philly, but hey, they're winning games, so I don't know why he would think that. But they're winning games, baby. They're not even close to playing their best football yet. And yet they're still, in my opinion, the best team in football. They beat 3 playoff caliber teams, and they beat the Cowboys. So, yeah.
That's where we're going to wrap up the power rankings. Obviously, I know y'all got some shit to say about Mikey's power rankings, so leave your comments below. For now, though, we're going to throw things to Nick and Jake Boskell. We've got a special report for this week. What's going on, guys?
What is going on, you guys? What's up? It is Nick. It's Jake. And this is episode 4 of Niche Nonsense. Episode 4 of it. Yeah. And lots of crazy things happened this week. Yeah, and then we had quite the unusual game for the Colts and Rams. Tell us what happened during that. I mean, during the Colts and the Rams game. Memorable. Yeah, Donnie Mitchell, he caught a amazing, wonderful pass. One of a kind. Yes. And he ran through in what would have been a 76-foot touchdown. Everything was looking good. Great distance. Yes, good pass. We got amazing yards. Yeah, everything's looking great. He dropped it right at the last second. There wasn't anyone around him. He got to the end, and he kind of just let go of it. Just let go at the end there. Causing a fumble. Man. And not great. Huge disappointment there. Yes. I feel like if I was it arguably costed them the game. And yeah, because they were even one touchdown behind at that point. And I feel like if I was watching the game and super invested into it, and I was like a Colts fan and everything, then I would just stop watching.
Yeah, it's not worth it at that point.
Yikes,
Very not.
I feel for all the Colts fans out there.
Just imagine being so close to achieving something,
and it just falls through.
It just goes wrong. Yeah, it's probably good.
Well, that's satisfying enough for me. I'm good.
I'm just gonna turn this in 99% complete. I don't need to see how it ends.
I get the idea. Oh man, dude! My bed's too far away.
I dropped it! Drop the paper! This is impossible.
I don't even need butter.
What's the phrase? I don't know what this is! Dude! Seriously? Come on!
Moving on, we have another thing to talk about,
we
like
do.
the Packers and Cowboys game, and how they tied.
Yes, they did tie. Ties are very
40
rare.
and 40. That is of note because they don't happen too often.
No, ties don't happen too often. Last time there was a tie in one of these seasons was actually 3 years ago in 2022, December 4th. You had the Commanders versus Giants. They tied with a score of 20-20.
And then that's not even the only tie to have happened in that season, because in the same one it was the Colts. Actually, the Colts. We just talked about those. They also tied. And it was actually the exact same score, believe it or not. So like ties are rare. But like 2022 was like an exception because it had two of them, and they were both the same score.
It's like you add the 20s up and get 44.
That is kind of
pretty
wild.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's move on to
prediction time.
Yes,
you know that the two of us always bring it with the predictions.
And we get it always right.
And we always right. Every if you look back at the previous episode,
they're always correct.
Every single prediction has been
every
flat out perfect, flawless, and completely.
Our first prediction
with Jake's elite ball knowledge.
Every team is going to tie. Every team is going to tie. Tie games across the board, and they're all going to score 7.
They're rare, but we're going to get a record of a ton of ties.
You know, 7's the lucky number, so every team's going to get that.
Yep. That could happen.
That's very plausible.
Yeah.
The next prediction we have
what you got?
is that every touchdown is going to turn into a fumble right at the last second.
Every single touchdown,
one.
every person who receives the ball is going to pull on a Donnie Mitchell, and they're going to just drop the ball immediately. Right next to the end zone. It's going to happen every single time. The only way everyone can even get any points on the scoreboard is field goals.
That's all they can do.
Yeah.
That's all they can do.
Yeah. And then our last
What's the last prediction?
Is in Dolphins versus Panthers. Everyone's going to get there. Watch that game, because the beginning is going to be something to write home about. And how they're going to forget a football.
They're going to forget.
You know what? They're going to be like, where's the football? They're going to get
They're not going to bring
They're going to be like, where's the football? And then they need to go out and send somebody to get them. So if you're in the stands watching it, they could choose you to go get it. It's stupid. It's the stupidest prediction.
Wouldn't that be the staff's job and not like someone watching it?
No, it's your job.
I guess it's your job, person watching it.
Well, that's what we got.
That's what we got for this week.
Take care, guys.
See ya.